Welcome back, everyone. Today is Thursday, May the 11th. I'm Ryan Hill.
I'm John Galantis.
And you're listening to Clearview Today with Dr. Shah, the daily show that engages mind and heart for the gospel of Jesus Christ. You can visit us online at clearviewtodayshow.com. If you have any questions for Dr. Shah or suggestions for new topics, send us a text to 252-582-5028, or you can email us at contact@clearviewtodayshow.com.
That's right, and you guys can help us keep the conversation going by supporting the show, sharing it online, leaving us a good review on iTunes or Spotify, anywhere you get your podcasting content from. We're going to leave a link in the description of this podcast so you can do just that. But before anything else happens, I want us to read the verse of the day.
Verse of the day.
Yeah, this is the verse of the day, and I'm just now seeing that I forgot to put the reference.
I was trying to stall as I looked up the reference.
My friend.
It is Romans chapter 10, verse 15.
That's exactly it, because I remember
Romans
looking
10,
it up.
verse
I
15.
just didn't write it.
I was going to go back and forth banter with you a little bit about our verse of the day jingle as I was furiously looking up this reference. I knew it was Romans, but I couldn't remember exactly.
We sing the new improvised verse of the day song.
Verse of the day. Hey, hey, hey.
Hey, hey, hey.
All right, so this is Romans chapter 10, verse 15, and it says, "And how shall they preach unless they are sent? As it is written, how beautiful are the feet of those who preach the gospel of peace, who bring glad tidings of good things."
Yeah. And that's the thing, is that people with beautiful feet, as Romans puts it, they're either sending folks or they're going themselves. And that's what we're called to do, is share this good news of salvation in Jesus Christ. So the question is this: do you have beautiful feet or do you have ugly feet? You know what I mean? Because you've seen those people with feet where it looks like the Lamisil monsters is crawling out trying to get out. I don't want to be that type of Christian. I don't want to be an ugly foot
Tough-acting
Christian.
tenactin.
Tough-acting tenactin. I'm John Madden with tough-acting tenactin. Rest in peace.
I love that analogy, though. Like, if your feet are not directly contributing to the gospel getting out,
That's
whether
right.
they're going or whether they're sending, because not all of us are going to go run out and evangelize, and not all of us are going to hop on a plane and go somewhere, or even just go down the street and evangelize. We need to either be going or we need to be contributing to those that are going.
That's right.
We are all engaged in this process of sending the gospel to the nations.
Speaking of feet, it's actually kind of perfect, because we had a question come in this morning. I was seeing it this morning as I was driving here regarding smells, and I thought, feet, smells. Yeah, this is a good one to do this question. Gina H wrote into the show and wants to know, what's the strangest smell that you love?
I feel targeted that you used that.
Why?
That segue.
Because
one of the strangest smells that I love is the smell of my kids' feet.
Ryan Hill?
Hold on, when they were little. When they were itty bitty.
David just loved it.
I love the smell of my kids, not just kids, my kids' feet.
David.
5 years old and down.
Put the camera on David.
I know it's gross.
That's really
it's gross.
It's not gross. It's just
disturbing.
Odd.
I know.
That's just
I know
odd
it
behavior.
is. I know.
David,
I know. It is odd. It's very weird. I'll be the first to admit.
Typically, Ryan, if people say something like, "Ooh, what's your strangest smell that you like?" You just give up a answer like one of mine, like gasoline, fresh cut grass, something like that. You're like, my children's feet from ages 5 down.
Yep.
Do you want to explain?
Strangest. We said strange. That is the strangest.
No, you're right.
That's the strangest.
I just
smell
wasn't
that
expecting that. That really caught me off guard.
That little baby feet smell where they start to. They're feet, so they smell like feet, but they're still.
What
little
does it
kids.
even
They don't
smell
stink.
like?
Just like kid feet.
Like a baby's head, I get. Because
Yeah.
people say that, like, "Oh, I love to sniff a baby's head."
Yeah,
That's the first thing both of my sons were born. We brought them to church, and people were like, "Oh, do you mind if I just right on the head?" I was like, "Oh, his head. No, why you sniff his head?" They're like, "Oh, yeah.
Just that baby
a
smell.
baby's face." But I've never seen someone pick up a baby's foot and go,
It's not any baby. It's not any baby.
Just your baby.
Just my baby.
What did this try to describe the smell?
It's like, I don't know. It smells kind of sweet.
Okay.
Kind of sweet smelling.
Like after a bath or just right after?
Just the baby's
feet. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I'll sniff Asher's feet. He's 4. I'll sniff
to this
his
day you
feet,
will?
and they stink sometimes. But to me, they still smell good.
I got to regroup. After that.
Sorry.
I feel like
I know that's a weird answer, and I know I'm going to get a lot of flack for it. But
that's what Gina asked.
That's my honest answer. The strangest smell that I love is my kids' feet when they are 5 years old and younger, and that's been true for all 5 of my kids.
I was thinking on the way here this morning, like how I could make liking gasoline compelling. I don't think there's any way to follow that.
No, I'm sorry.
I can't follow someone who likes the smell of the baby's
Something
feet.
happens at 5 though. I don't know what it is, but their feet start smelling like grown kid feet and they start to like really stink, I'm like, okay, all right, we're done now.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
like 4 years old and down, they still smell kind of like little baby feet. Like it just smells good to me.
I got you.
From my kids, from my biological children.
Maybe it's more common than I'm giving it credit for. Why don't you guys write in? Why don't you guys write into the show and let us know? Do you like the smell of your baby's feet? Probably not.
Probably,
but, I mean,
probably
but
not.
You
probably
might.
not. I'm probably alone in that. But
Gina, that's the answer. He likes the smell of his baby's feet. I really love gasoline, but we're going to ask Dr. Shah at the end of the episode because I have a feeling his will hopefully be a little bit more tame than his baby's feet. Maybe he likes his baby's feet. I don't know. Shoot.
Stay tuned. We'll figure
His
out.
kids are all like in their like late teens and 20s, but
Maybe he still sniffs Nicholas's feet. I don't know.
Could be.
I don't know. That seems a little troubling to me.
Well.
Write in and let us know, 252-582-5028. If you have any questions or suggestions for new topics, we'd love to hear those as well. Or you can visit us online at clearviewtodayshow.com. We'll be back after this.
Are you looking for some new worship music to go along with all these amazing shows here on the Truth Network? Well, today's your lucky day because Dr. Shah and myself and a lot of the rest of the Clearview staff have been hard at work writing for the last few months, and we're very excited to share Clearview's new EP with you, Together Forward. Not only do these songs sound great, but each and every single one of them were born from a place of genuine worship and prayerfully written by our team right here at Clearview Church. It's available right now on iTunes, Amazon, Spotify, anywhere digital music is sold. So make sure to pick up your copy today and let us know how these songs are helping you, whether they're helping your worship band in your church or just in the car or around in your everyday life. Email us at info@clearviewbc.org. You can also support the ministry here at Clearview Church by visiting us online. That's clearviewbc.org/give. Thanks for listening. Now back to the show.
Welcome back to Clearview Today with Dr. Abadan Shah, the daily show that engages mind and heart for the gospel of Jesus Christ. You can visit us online at clearviewtodayshow.com, or if you have any questions or suggestions for new topics, send us a text to 252-582-5028.
That's right. And if this is your first time ever visiting the show with us, we want to make you feel welcome, let you know who's talking to you today. Dr. Abadan Shah is a PhD in New Testament textual criticism, professor at Carolina University, author, full-time pastor, and the host of today's show. You can find all of his work on his website at abadanshah.com.
That's right, Dr. Shah. Welcome back. I wish I could have like some sort of sound bite where it's like,
so
like tumbleweed rolls across some kind of animation. Or something.
My dad, I mentioned this on Tuesday, but my dad loved Westerns. And
Really?
I have a vivid memory. I was telling Dr. Shaw this earlier when we were getting coffee. I have a vivid memory of like falling asleep on the couch while he would be like watching Westerns and like hearing that sound. Like you know that area of sleep where you're still kind of conscious, you hear stuff. It would be like, "Doodle-doo-doo, wah, wah, wah." And it scared me. That it just used to disturb.
Startled awake.
It's just such an unnerving sound,
Yeah.
like to a little kid, and I remember that to this day. I would hear it in my room because he would watch Westerns on repeat, and I'd hear it in my like from my room. Doodle-doo, wah, wah, wah. And I'd be like, ugh, I don't like it. I can hear it today, but I definitely was scared.
Your
of
eye
that.
starts twitching a little bit.
Yeah, I was scared of that as a kid for sure.
Well, we're continuing this conversation. This has been a fun set of episodes. We
Yes.
talked about, a couple days ago, we talked about Westerns and the Old West specifically, kind of that nostalgic era. We talked about the Transcontinental Railroad and, its effects on our nation and that time where we needed it so desperately for our nation to be unified. So today we're just going to kind of continue that conversation. Dr. Shah, I know that the Old West is something that you love to talk about, that you're passionate about. So let's dig in a little bit more in that conversation and see, what else is in the Old West for us to discover.
Well, if you really want to watch a movie, really a show that depicts the Old West like it is supposed to be, you have to do the one with Robert Duvall and Tommy Lee Jones. Anybody here know which one I'm talking about?
I don't.
It seems familiar.
Yeah, Lonesome Dove.
Oh, I've definitely heard
Dove.
Lonesome
Okay.
Dove.
Okay.
That was a TV show?
I didn't know the name
Well,
of it.
I mean, it was a show.
Okay.
I knew I can picture Tommy Lee Jones in like
In like
attire.
the cowboy get up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is the most depressing show ever.
That's not the way I expected it to go.
It all goes downhill. It
Just
starts-
everything that can go wrong does.
Yeah,
Oh, no.
Danny Glover's in that show.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but it all sort of one by one they die horribly. Some of them. But that, I would say,
It's a pretty good summary.
pretty good summary. And I still like it. I actually went and bought the whole series years ago.
Really?
Oh, wow.
On DVD, yeah. Haven't watched it.
You got to be in the right headspace because you know it's gonna.
I do
you know
that
it's gonna be a
sometimes. Like I'll
downer.
buy something. And I'm like, no, I'm not emotionally ready for this.
I'm not prepared.
The only time I watch it is like when it's on TV now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I have to get myself ready. It's like, do I want to do this?
Yeah, it's such a downer. Like I'm doing that kind of with Guardians 3 right now. Like I saw the
Yeah,
trailers and
I
I'm like,
know.
you know what?
Yeah.
I don't think I'm ready for this. I'm just gonna chill.
It's like
for a
bitter medicine. You know that you need it.
I gotta
but
take it.
I don't wanna. I don't want to
Yeah.
take it.
I'm gonna enjoy watching it, but I know it's gonna be a gut punch in the soul.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's probably close to reality of how the Old West used to be.
That's also great storytelling when you can make people feel emotions like that.
Yeah.
That's really
And
good.
want to feel those
Yeah.
emotions. Like, oh man, I really want to watch that show, even though I know it's going to be sort of depressing.
Yeah.
I really want to watch that show.
But
That's kind of a great contrast to like Bonanza, where like you said, everything's kind of happy and cheerful,
Bright,
like,
colorful.
He's real bright, colorful. Hoss
most
and
of the
all
time, it's happy and cheerful. Many times, it ends up being that the gal they really were in love with turned out to be a rotten gambler.
Yeah, or like a smuggler's woman or something.
Yeah.
That's true.
Heartbreaking.
So there are sad moments in
Yeah,
Bonanza
that's
too.
Poor Hoss and just always getting his heart broken.
Yeah, I mean, come on, leave the man alone. He can handle himself.
Hashtag leave Hoss
Leave
alone.
Hoss alone.
Yeah, he's in love. Yeah,
That's
have y'all
trending
y'all
now.
know these episodes that I'm referring to?
I don't know
I know
that
of
one.
Bonanza, but no, I don't know.
I know
didn't
Hoss
watch
was
it.
like the bigger son, right? There was
Yes.
3 sons. It was
Right.
like Hoss was one. I can't remember the other 2.
But I mean, it's hilarious at times, but at the same time, it's like, oh,
Yeah.
poor Hoss.
Yeah, Hoss, man. He
Yeah.
just they do Hoss wrong.
But if you want to watch like a real tough guy movie, then of course Tombstone it is. That's David's favorite movie, David, right now. I mean, would you say one of the westerns that you really like?
Yeah, probably my favorite Western that I've seen, just because I very quickly fell in love with the character of Doc Holliday.
Yeah.
Just being tough and just, I don't know what it was about him, but he wasn't afraid of anything. I
Right.
think that's what it was. Like, I think he even says it in the movie. He's like, I'm not afraid to die. I'm not afraid to live. I just can't fight human instinct. I don't remember the exact quote, but yeah, I really liked him. And so Tombstone has quickly become my favorite. I've seen it probably 20 times in the past 2 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
Who introduced you to Tombstone?
So that was somebody named Dr. Shah. He
I love the setup there. Like, that was somebody that I met one time in my life named Dr. Shah.
That's right. Oh, look
Yeah.
at this.
So
John-
you started talking about Tombstone. David, do you want to give the story behind this?
Yeah, that's fine. So just
You wanna hold
like
it
we
up?
said,
Yes, of
I
course. I'll
I
keep it
really
right
like Tombstone, and Dr. Shaw introduced me to Tombstone and Doc Holliday. So we went to Colorado on a staff retreat, and I got my first cowboy hat at the place where Doc Holliday died. So from then on, I was like, okay, I guess I'm taking on the mantle of Doc Holliday.
Well, just to let people know, he died in a hotel room. Okay, so and that hotel room or that hotel sort of converted into a museum shop, and so you can go there and see Tombstone memorabilia, and that's where David got his hat.
Yep,
That's a pretty cool
Oh
place.
wait, you got your hat from the
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
oh
museum?
yeah. It was in that place.
Yeah, he got it right
The brown
there.
one or the
Yeah,
black?
the brown one.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I knew we got it in Arizona. I didn't know you got it at the museum.
Yeah, it was in Colorado. I got it.
I
From,
mean, that's right.
I
That's
got it
right.
from the place where Doc Holliday died.
We all bought cowboy hats in Arizona, though.
Yeah,
we
that
just
was-
bought like
that
cheap
was
ones.
like fake.
You
cowboy
got a
hats.
good one in Arizona. Nicholas got a really good one in Arizona.
Yeah.
But you
So-
bought your
Yeah.
good brown one in Colorado.
Nick's. David's good one came from Colorado.
That's right. You're right.
So I was like, okay, I've been introduced to Tombstone, Doc Holliday. I really like this. So in order to pay my respects to the OG, the one who has originally introduced me, I got
It's called Doc Shalladay.
I
Yeah.
love
Doc
it's-
Holliday.
Doc Holliday. I love that. That's hilarious.
By the way, here's a fun fact for you.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
fun fact.
The director of the movie.
Uh-huh.
I mean, you would expect somebody. I mean, he is down home country western.
Almost like John Wayne.
Can I say
himself.
redneck? I mean,
Yeah,
he just
yeah.
like he is. No, he was a Greek Italian.
That I did know because you told me
His
about
name was George Cosmatos.
that. That sounds Greek.
Doesn't that sound like somebody who'd make
That's-
Tombstone?
That sounds like my people. Yeah.
That does not sound like Tombstone. That is-
Cosmatos, yeah. Yeah, he's
Wow.
he's one of us.
He's the same guy who did Rambo,
Really?
the second
I
movie.
didn't know. That I didn't
I think it's First Blood, and then Cobra, the Sylvester Stallone movies.
Wow.
Yeah. So you see that style coming out. It's like, I'll show you, kind of thing. Did the people in the West actually act that way? We don't know. Thanks to all the spaghetti westerns, it take on has some Italian.
I was going to ask you that. I'm not familiar with that term, spaghetti western.
You never heard of
Yeah,
that?
I've never
spaghetti
heard of
westerns.
Maybe
I don't know why they call them
Nicholas can enlighten us on that. Nicholas, tell us a little bit about the spaghetti
what is the
western.
spaghetti
Nicholas.
western?
They've 100%.
Tell us.
They're called spaghetti westerns.
What are they about, Nicholas? You don't know?
Yes, you do.
Nicholas loves to watch these movies. He has a whole set of Clint Eastwood movies at home, right, Nicholas? That's my son, by the way.
Yeah, he's looking like he doesn't want to get in the mic.
Which one were you watching recently?
The Good, the Bad, the Ugly.
The Good, the Bad, the Ugly.
That's the one.
That's it. It is.
What is the spaghetti? Where does the spaghetti come from?
For some reason, Italian investors got really
okay.
into the West,
Yep.
and they decided to capture that market. So a lot of movies that were made in the 50s, 60s eras, I believe it is. Again, I may be getting my dates wrong. Were actually done by them.
Okay.
And of course, you can always say it's like, they kind of made the West not the West. Maybe, but I think they did also do a great job capturing some of the things. So, of course, nobody's going to get it right unless you're like coming right from that place in a time machine. I think they did a great job.
What if they hadn't? I mean, was anybody else doing it?
No, I mean, nothing like they did.
Yeah.
So they brought the West, the allure of the West back, in some ways. So I think it's great.
Gotcha. Spaghetti Western. I learned that today. I've never heard that.
Yeah.
I've definitely heard it, but I didn't know it was because they were produced by Italian people. I've always heard that they were called spaghetti westerns, but I never questioned it. I was like,
yeah.
all right.
Well,
All you have to do is look at the credits when the movie ends.
Like, those don't sound like
those names are a little suspect
a
there.
pattern here.
Yeah, you won't see Smith and Richardson and things like that. You'll find a lot of
Antonucci's and
Yeah.
like Sopranos and
yes, of course.
Corleones and stuff like that.
Yeah.
names like that. You go, but see, look at me. I'm not from here. Why do I like the West? So I don't. Some people like make fun of those spaghetti westerns and like, man, those guys just made money off that. No, I think they did some research and they studied it well, and they captured that the same sentiments that I'm capturing
Right.
as an Indian from India. I love it. They loved it,
Yeah.
and they made a big deal out of it. And today, some of those movies like Good, Bad, and Ugly, Fistful of Dollars, all these movies are so popular because it's like, wow, yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
I like the West.
Part of storytelling, I think, is finding those cultures that may not be your own, but you see the value in them, and you see the themes that come through. Like we were talking about, I think we talked about on Tuesday. There's lots of political commentary going on in a lot of these westerns, and there's
Yeah.
lots of social commentary talking
Yeah.
about this is how life was.
Yeah.
And it may have been simple, but it had its own set of problems. And for a lot of people, this is how they lived.
Right.
And those stories are worth telling, not because you just want to look back and remember simpler times, but because that shaped these famous people into who they were. The circumstances, the things that they had to live with, the progress, like the railroads and technology that interrupted their lives.
Yeah.
Like, yes, it made the nation better, but it also affected these people in a real way. And that's kind of what these genres, deal with.
I mean, okay, I'm glad you brought that up because movies like High Noon came out in 1952. High Noon, a lot of presidents love this movie, like Eisenhower, Bill Clinton, they all often talk about it. Ronald Reagan did as well. But initially, this movie was sort of coming from an anti-McCarthyism point of view. Like, all these people who were so courageous right now, they don't want to stand up against the scrutiny of the Red Scare. In that sense, I like High Noon and I don't.
Yeah.
Because it almost makes people, it's the agenda is too strong.
For the listeners, do you want to just kind of briefly talk about McCarthyism, like what that means?
Yeah, I mean, it was just like hunting for, looking for those people who had communist tendencies and communist, ideals.
So
and
High Noon
views.
being anti-McCarthyism would have been pro-communist.
Because at that time, there was a lot of spotlight being put on Hollywood because of some of the socialist, communist type tendencies coming out, and guess what? They were right.
Yeah,
because it was happening in Hollywood. So, but anyways, so High Noon was sort of like a defense of, hey, stand up against these people trying to scare us.
That is very interesting to me that a Western was made in support of like communist ideals and sympathizers.
Yeah.
It kind of feels like
Because when I see Gary Cooper, I don't see a communist.
These things don't seem to go together.
But it seems like kind of something that they would do. Like, we're going to have you support our side with the thing that you like.
Yeah.
Like, you like these
Yeah, you're
Westerns.
absolutely right.
Yeah. It seems like that
then
kind of
stand up against these people trying to prosecute us and question us. Oh, you're not. You're weak. So I'm going to be the last man standing. Which is another movie, by the way.
Yeah.
But I'm going to be the one who's going to hold my ground. But John Wayne didn't like it either. He's like, I don't like High Noon. It's a pathetic movie. Different words he used. So he made the movie The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance, which I think is better, anyways.
Yeah.
Now High Noon has its great moments too, but Man Who Shot Liberty Valance, I would prefer that. The ideals in there are a little better.
Yeah.
If somebody is looking to, we talked a lot about Westerns and Old West, that kind of culture over the past couple episodes. If somebody has been listening, they're like, man, I really want to get into this. I really want to.
Yeah.
Where should they start? What's the best jumping off point? What's
A movie or a book or
anything? Any
my
type of
word.
media, movie, book, show, comic. What's the best place for them to kind of, I guess, get their feet wet?
I mean, I like the old shows. I still like the Rifleman. Some of those shows. I think they watch Rawhide. It's an education.
Rawhide. Is that? Oh man, hold on.
Rawhide.
Yeah, bring them in, roll them in, rolling, bring them up, settle up. Rawhide.
Yeah.
I've got a vague, distant memory of that. I never watched Rawhide, but I think my dad did.
How about this?
Rolling.
Try Billy Crystal City Slickers.
Billy Crystal City Slickers.
There you go. There you go. Yeah, I think it may be a good introduction. I'm not going to recommend everything in the movie. At times language, so please forgive me for that. But it has some very good themes in there.
You think Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid is good for beginners, or you think that's kind of deep Western?
I think it's a good movie. I enjoyed it. Paul Newman, Robert Redford did a great job. But at the same time, that 60s, 70s, persona also came through, which is what happens in movies.
Yeah.
Anytime you make a movie, you will reflect the culture.
That's true.
It can be a historical movie, but it still will reflect the culture.
Yeah.
So I think it's great, but I won't recommend that as the first movie you
as
go
a
watch.
beginner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's good.
Yeah.
I like it.
That's one of the ones I started with, and I was like, man, this movie's good, but it definitely doesn't feel like the movies like my dad watched, like the John Wayne movies, like the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, or the Clint Eastwoods.
As we've been thinking about over the past few episodes, the Old West and movies and media that depict that kind of culture and nostalgia, are there any concepts illustrated in those movies or shows that maybe apply to our spiritual life?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, think about Jesus. I like to think of Jesus as in a Western theme, in a sense, because every morning he would get up and go away by himself to pray. He liked that aloneness that he had, that time with his Heavenly Father. And so when you think about the Old West, I think about the simpler times. I think about the wide open spaces. I think about liberty, the freedom you have to do your own thing. And so I would say the most important do your own thing is get alone with God.
That's right. That's right.
And nature, of course, to me is just such a beautiful thing. Teaches us about who God is, and how much He cares for His creation. So those are some important themes that we can still learn from.
I think also something that I think about Jesus when I'm thinking about the West is like the way he just kind of rolled into town and he saw that there's there's an established order of things.
Yes.
This is how we do things. And he comes in with differing values and it creates this upset. I mean, that's very typical of a Western where the gunslinger rolls in and it's like, well, we don't do things like that around here. Well, guess what? I'm a one-man
You're not
army.
from around these parts.
Yeah. I'm not from around here. And he comes in, he kind of puts his values on the town, and the town kind of sees, okay, this is a good way of doing things. We might need this guy to protect us.
Yeah.
I think so also with Jesus, like he comes in, he sees the established order of these religious leaders, and he's like, this is not of God. I'm here to show you what's... And like any good story, there's conflict. They try to kill him, and they try to get rid of him, but he can't be stopped.
Yeah.
That's right. I mean, and going back to the man who shot Liberty Valance, it's in a sense the battle between fascism and democracy. Yeah, these are townspeople who are trying to live and do exist and have a life, and here is Liberty Valance who is trying to take that away and intimidate people. I mean, isn't that where we are as a culture today in America?
Very much.
We are being intimidated by certain nations and agendas to do what they want us to do. So in a sense, I think not only going back to God and trusting in Him and looking to Him, but also going back to those values that made America what it is. I'm not saying America is perfect. Far from that. There are a lot of things we need to work on. But there are certain things that are still worth preserving, which is, hey, you coming against us, we're going to stand up together.
Yeah. And we sort of lost that fighting spirit.
Yeah. I think we have. I think we are divided as a nation. We are, afraid of so much fear. And the best of the people, and the people who claim to be believers, they operate with fear.
Yeah.
And some of my, best people I know are full of fear. And I'm like, what are you so afraid of? I get it that you're afraid, but why? You have God on your side.
Right.
Don't be afraid. Step forward. And unless we do, we're going to stay in Egypt. We're not going to leave the land of slavery. We're going to stay in Egypt. And we're going to, or even if we do, we're going to die in the wilderness. We have to step forward, trusting God every step of the way, giving Him glory every step of the way, and walking forward. Just like those spies went into the land, came back, and were all scared. Like, no, I don't think so. I don't think so. But two of them said, I think we can take them. I mean, how much more Western can you get?
That's
Exactly.
it. That's it.
Spirit.
We can do it.
We can do it. They are like bread for us.
Yeah.
We can fight.
That's right.
And again, keep in mind, it's not we who are fighting, it's God who's fighting in us, through us.
That's right.
So why not step forward?
I love that. Reclaiming that spirit of being willing to step forward, being willing to stand up and stand together against, oppression, against intimidation. And I'm just going to throw this out there. I love the idea of like outlaw Jesus.
Yeah.
Like
I
just
like
that
that.
Jesus
that
with
picture,
the cowboy hat and the
love
spurs.
That.
Yeah.
That's right.
Absolutely
That's right.
love that. there's something to be explored there.
That's right.
Well, thank you guys for listening in today. If you guys enjoyed today's episode, or you have questions or suggestions for new episodes, let us know by sending us a text to 252-582-5028. If you try out some of these Westerns and you get a chance to watch those, write in and let us know what you think, which ones were your favorite and what you learned from them. You can also visit us online at clearviewtodayshow.com, and you can partner with us financially on that same website. Every gift that you give goes not only to building up this radio show, but countless other ministries for the gospel of Jesus.
That's right.
We love you guys. We'll see you next time on Clearview Today.